This is the presentation for my fly fishing learning manual developed for Orvis, and it was developed by me, Jack Stamper. So, its primary focus is to give new associates and more clothing focused associates information about fly fishing. This seemed very prudent to make, being that there are some associates that were hired that are great at selling merchandise such as the clothing that Orvis produces. However, they do not know a lot of background with fly fishing, and fly fishing is the heart and soul really of Orvis and how Orvis was developed back in the 1800s. So the primary topics that I'm going to focus in this learning manual are casting, various types of gear and tackle, the dynamics of fly fishing, fly tying, and basic knots and spooling of a fly reel. So for casting, I mostly focused on a couple of the basic casts that are very commonly used, such as the overhead cast, the roll cast, the water load cast, and how to handle line and what's something called loading line. These are all topics that a lot of customers come in and talk about and try to learn about. So if a fly fishing associate isn't there, then the clothing associate who read this manual can actually engage with the customer and give them some valuable information. The next topic would be gear. Orvis focuses on the big three, which are fly rods, waders, and fly reels. So there's definitely some good information on good selling points of the reels, the rods, and the waders in there. For the pro waders, the Mirage reel and the Helios rods, which are Orvis's most favored and most well improved products. There's also a lot of information about various gear, such as line, leader, tippet, flies, and whatnot, and how they're made, and what's the point of them, which is just another way for clothing associates who've read this to engage with customers when a fly associate isn't there. So they have some knowledge and can talk with fly fishing customers so they're not neglected. The next topic is dynamics. The dynamics mostly focused on really what fly fishing is and how it works, and the different styles of fly fishing are discussed, such as nymphing, dry fly fishing, streamer fishing, how they work, how to read water, and how to present the fly properly, and just what makes fly fishing work, what makes a fish eat a fly. And these are all things that many customers come in and just want to talk about and learn new stuff, which is just another reason why, if there's a fly associate unavailable, that these clothing associates who've read this manual can engage with them and maybe sell some products and just keep them engaged and allow for a better experience coming into the store. And moving on to spooling and knots. So spooling is something that is a free service given at any Orvis store, where if a customer came in with an empty reel and some line, no matter what brand, we're going to spool it up for them, give them some backing and everything. And doesn't really go the manual doesn't really go too in depth on how to exactly spool a rod or a reel. It definitely talks about the knots, which is very important. Many customers come in and they don't know the knots. You tell them, yeah, you're gonna want to put your tippet on your leader, and they're like, oh, what's tippet? And then it's always good to just give them like a nice little free lesson. So just another thing these associates can utilize and help enhance and teach the customer something new. And it was too difficult to exactly do step-by-step instruction on spooling a reel. So it's definitely a basic, very broad characterization of it and description of it. So I would highly recommend these clothing associates to get with the fly fishing associate if they really want to learn how to do it. But it definitely does give some good information and allows a good starting point for it. Along with a good starting point, fly tying is also a very broad topic, and the manual definitely doesn't go super in depth on how to tie every single fly. That's a whole book worth of stuff. So this manual just scratches the surface on very important tools and materials that are common to use. And a lot of customers come in and just go right to the fly fishing section. So this will allow any basic questions the associates can have some confidence when talking to them, and maybe point them in the right direction of a certain material and whatnot, and just have a basic understanding. When someone says, I'm looking for a vise, then the associate can be like, okay, well, these are the vices. So definitely a good starting point. To learn more about that, I would definitely recommend definitely doing it and getting with the associate and learning getting with the fly fishing associate and really learning how to do it. And there's also the Orvis fly tying classes that'll help a lot as well. So all in all, this manual really just scratches the surface on the basics of fly fishing, and it's by no means will make anyone an expert. And I highly recommend just going out and fly fishing and really getting into the hobby to really learn more. This, however, will help the stores and the associates learn more and help provide better coverage for the stores when they perhaps are understaffed, someone couldn't work, so there's not customers that come in and are neglected, because it definitely has happened. So this would be a good way to eliminate that.